Welcome back to the Adventures with the Average Joe, and I'm Joe. Today, I'm going to be working on Jasmine. She's dripping a little bit of oil. I'm not quite sure where from, so we're going to have to take off some plastic, starting with like lifting the seat up, getting the seat in the bucket out, take the front piece off. I'm not sure if I got to take the side off or not, but we're definitely going to have to remove this plastic covering from the radiator and possibly move the radiator. I don't know yet. I don't know where it's dripping from, but I'm going to find out. Hopefully we can fix it and it's not too hard of a fix. I can't imagine it's going to be anything too bad, but I won't know until I get into it. So enough procrastinating. Let's get busy and get this started. The sooner I get started, the sooner I can finish. To start off, I'm going to be using a Phillips head screwdriver on some of this, on most of this. Like I said, most of it's going to be done with a Phillips head screwdriver. Two more up here, and I should be able to get this piece off. One and two. Oh no, where am I missing? Oh look, down underneath. 4 of them down in this bucket you gotta take out. One thing I like about the new motor bikes is these buckets are big enough that you can put a helmet or two, or like our case, we would be putting groceries. This little bucket, you're not putting much in. There we go, we got the seat and the bucket off. Front cover. See where I got oil right here, piling up and dripping? And it runs the whole way back. I gotta go back there and figure out where it's coming from. But you see the drip? When you put your oil in and check your oil, your dipstick is back behind here, so I'm thinking this might be leaking. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna try to remove this fender here. So far, I'm seeing one screw here. One right here. Right by the peg. Another one right here. All right, I gotta come back up top. Feels like it's still holding on to something. Looks like we might be using a socket. What socket did I use on this? That would be a 12mm. And there's only 4 12mm bolts that hold this on. There was a screw right here, right beside the tail light. You see this here? That screw is what was holding this up from coming off. And from looking at all this, it looks like this bike's been through a flood or two. Alright, now I got all that exposed. Holy crap, is this dirty. Definitely going to have to clean this up while I have everything exposed. 10 mm, 8 mm, and 8 mm. Alright, we gotta move this radiator out of our way so I can see what's going on back here. Ten mm bolts, and there's 3 of them. I already pre-loosened them. I should put them right there. See if I can move this out the way enough to see what's going on. What the heck? Okay, we might have to actually take the radiator off. But real quick, I'm going to peek behind here and see what I see. Where's that leak coming from? Okay, we're going to have to dig in deeper. Back behind here, we got to get this radiator off. So I got to go get a bucket to drain the water in. All right, that should do. Pair of pliers. Come on, Jasmine. Let's see if we can get you fixed up. Oh, is that baked on there? Oh yeah. I just use this real thin wrench to get in between the hose and the radiator. Get it sliding. Oh, we got muddy water coming out. That might be half the freaking problem. We're not getting cooled off enough. That's messed up. Okay, I'm gonna have to flush this radiator out. It's full of muddy water. Sad part is I had someone flush my radiator for me. And it wasn't the normal garage I go to. It was a different one just because everybody else was closed. And they didn't do the job. I normally sit around and watch, but that day I walked up to 7-Eleven to get money out of the bank. So, wow. Muddy water. Someone literally took water off the side of the road to fill this up. And when they flushed it out, I bet all that was sitting in here and all they did was empty. I'm betting any money they popped that off, emptied this out, refilled this, and never cleaned this out. Because that's straight up sand in there, dude. Come on, baby. Well, I'm glad I decided to take the radiator off. At least I found out it's full of muddy water. That ain't good. That means my whole system's being flushed with muddy water. I don't think I got this one off enough. It's hard to get in there with this right there. There we go. Where did I put that little key? I just had it. I might have to watch my video to find out where I put it. Right by my legs. Okay. That little wrench again, I'm going to use on the back. Help me get this hose off. And this tool isn't really for this. It's just, it works really well. There's my radiator. We got to go flush that out. Holy crap, dude. I can't believe this. Sandy water. All right, we got this all off. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do here because I got to look back in there more. I'll show you a clip of me rinsing this out real quick. But the whole system's going to need flushed because it's the whole way back into here, the whole way into the engine. Like, that's amazing. But at least I got to start here. Look at that. It's muddy water. This is packed full of sand too. I'm just trying to make sure I can get water going the whole way through it. That's simple to rinse this out. Someone put muddy water in it. Never rinsed it out. And then whenever I had the coolant changed, the guy that I went to obviously didn't change the coolant. They just topped it off because it was full of mud. We're going to see if I can just clean out this hose a little wee bit. See how mud is coming out? Oh yeah. This whole system has got mud in it and sand. Look at that, straight up muddy water. That was in my radiator. This is the radiator fan. I got to remove it to see what's behind it. We're going to use a 10 mm. And if you need torque, there's this little notch right here that you can get your wrench in and put your socket on. But I already got these pre-loosened. All right. And that's your radiator fan. Now right here again is 10 mm. I got these pretty much pre-loosened also. I need to take this off to see back in here better, to see what's going on. And if it is the magneto seal back here, then I might have to take it to a garage because I don't have the right tools. But I still need to see what it is So when I go to the garage, I can tell them, hey, this is exactly what I want you to fix. And the garage I'm going to take it to, they're really good people. They do pretty good jobs. It's my normal garage. If I can show them what I want, they'll do exactly what I want. All right. All right, now we can. There we go. And that takes this piece off. I might even clean this up before I put it back on. Oh, wow, that's pretty bad. I'm going to bring you in for a closer look to show you what I'm looking at. See how dirty it is up in there? I got to clean that out before I even take it over to the shop if I have to. I want to dry this up a little bit before I go too much farther. Because I want to see where it's actually leaking from. Because it could be coming from up here dripping down. Could be coming from over here dripping down. One good way to find out is wipe it off and see where it's coming from. Then I can at least show them at the garage what I want done. This looks like it's been leaking for a little while. Just finally had it. I wonder how much with being overheated made a seal go bad because there was mud water in it instead of coolant. Like I said, that's my bad for, look, there's mud right there. But that was my bad for going to a garage I normally don't go to. Now, granted, there's grease, but like I said, I think this bike went through a flood because normally you don't see this yellow mud and sand the whole way up through the bike like this, all over everything, unless it went through a flood. Because normally with these bikes with the tire spray and when you're riding, you'll see it come up and it'll be a little bit more on just like the undersides, right? Unless this thing was never cleaned in its whole history. But I'm putting money on it. But how much is there and how it's caked on? Whoever owned this at one point in time either drove it through flooded water and it went fully submerged, or it washed away or something, because my normal garage pressure washed up here on the engine block and got a bunch off, but couldn't get it all off. And now I'm taking these side fenders off and it's just caked on there. Look at this. That's all going to need to be cleaned up. All of this needs cleaned up just so I know it's good. But there's that clay even inside of here, back behind this radiator fan. Big chunks of it caked in with oil. So I'm going to clean this up and see where it's coming from. Let it sit for a while. I might even crank it over once just to get it, the compression in it. I don't want it to run because I have no water or nothing. But this is a magneto cover. In every video I've seen, you need like a punch tool to pop it off. And I don't have that. So if I gotta have that removed, like if that would remove easy, I could take the few screws off, take the cover off myself, and go hand them that. But I don't know. We'll see what's up. My favorite little knife. I had another one that I like just as much as this, but last time I went home, I had it in my luggage. And you can pack a pocket knife in your luggage as long as it goes under the plane. And I did that, but when I landed in DC, the plane they put me on after I had to go to Pittsburgh didn't have enough storage. So when they scanned my case, they're like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Well, it's supposed to be stored under the plane." They're like, "Well, it's not going to be, so you got to give it up." So my whittling knife, since I was a teenager, I lost, but I still got this one. There's so much of this clay and sand under here. Right now, I'm just trying to scrape up as much as I can so I can wipe it all down, see where the drip's coming from to get a really good idea to make sure what seal it is. Like, there's so much in there. I might have to get a little bit of gasoline and a toothbrush to get this real clean. At least got it dry. And I can tell this has been leaking for a while. Because look how thick that is. All this has got to be cleaned off before I even take it to get worked on. I gotta clean all that off. Like, that's a lot. Like I said, this went through a flood. There's no way this did not go through a flood. One last time. Alright, let's turn the key off. And now it's just going to be a waiting game. Hopefully that helped. Nice and dry. But yeah, this is on there pretty good. Let's bring it in for a closer look. But I have a suspicion that's coming from the seal right there. That's where it's the dirtiest. Just to show you how thick this is on here. Everything's like that. That's insane. Yeah, we gotta get this totally cleaned up. Let's get some of this heavier stuff off. Holy moly. Once I get the heavy stuff off, then we'll get the toothbrush out. So much. Look at that. I figure I may as well clean it up a little bit while I'm waiting for that oil to leak. So I can confirm where it's coming from. And after that, go from there. At first, I thought it was just this valve stem puking down in. But not looking like it. Looking like it did at one time, though. That or this is all that oil coming out and spraying up over it, like out here and down here. But where I noticed the leak today was coming down across here. So I'm thinking, good chance it's that seal right behind these, right behind this. Like I said, every video I watched, they had to use some kind of like impact drill and certain certain sockets that I don't have. So if that's the case, I might have to take it to the garage. I wish I could just get this off because then I could take that apart, pull the seal out, and go get it. Sometimes it sucks not having all the right tools. Like even up here is caked with this yellowness. And a lot of this ain't even oil. It's like sand and clay. Not perfect, but a lot better than what it was. Time to put everything back together, I think, to go test run it good. This is a pain. Okay, everybody, I found where the leak was coming. I don't know, by me cleaning stuff up and tightening up a couple of bolts that were loose, maybe that seal will start working again. I'm hoping the bolts just backed out a little bit and it was leaking. If it continues to leak after the oil change that I'm going to do here tomorrow, then I'm going to have to either rent a tool that like presses the magneto cover off so I can pull it all out and change the seal, or just take it to the garage and pay them to do it. But right now I'm going to go take the bike for a test run, make sure it's running right, and go from there. See you in a little bit.